Shadow person? Back in December 2022, me, female 24, and my partner, male 23, were playing with both of our cats in the lounge. The lounge is connected to the house entrance hallway, which leads upstairs. A door separates the lounge from the hallway. In this scenario, this door is shut. Upon entering the lounge, there is a glass door which leads you to the living room. This is where my partner's parents were during this unexplained event. So the event that took place was simple, yet me and my partner cannot explain it. We were on our tummy playing with the youngest cat. Whilst laying on the floor, we both laid our heads down, and our cat was playing with her toy fish. She grabbed it with her claw, but managed to throw this toy past us, and it landed at the base of the door leading to the hallway. Watching our cat rush towards it, we laughed and reached to take the fish. Upon reaching for the fish, I saw a pair of black shoes walk past in the hallway under the gap of the door. This door is solid wood, so I couldn't see who was there. I just saw the feet. I didn't think anything of it and thought it must be my partner's dad. Only to turn to the glass door, seeing both his parents on the sofa watching TV. Confused, I look at my partner. He looks at me and says, "Did you see that too?" The fact that I didn't even have to say anything terrified me. There was absolutely no one else in the house. As it stood, everyone was either in the lounge or in the living room. Right after realizing we both saw the same thing, we opened the door to find nothing. Nobody was there. My partner checks outside the front door, and there's not a soul around. We ask his parents if there are any visitors. Nope. We were confused and haven't told many people this in fear of sounding crazy. His mom completely believes us, as she has had experience in this house. This house is over 300 years old, so I'm fascinated yet scared to investigate what me and my partner saw that day. I am happy to elaborate on other events happening here, but is it fair to assume what we saw was supernatural or paranormal? Humanoid creature sighting in rural Smiley, Yorktown, Texas. This is the story of the scariest moment of my life. It's been a few months since I experienced this sighting, but I'm still terrified to go out at night due to seeing what I saw. About 3 months ago, I had moved onto an 11-acre property in rural Texas, specifically between Yorktown and Smiley. The entire plot of land was about 3 to 4 times the size of the lot we purchased, but nobody had purchased any of the other portions while we lived there. The land was fresh, never had been built on before, and didn't even have an address. It was surrounded solely by oil pumps on neighboring properties. At night, you could see the burn-off from them, lighting part of the sky orange. Our quote-unquote house was a bare-bones tiny house. No walls, just wooden beams and a bare floor. No running water, no plumbing. We had to dig the electric ourselves. That's how new the property was. It was a miserable experience all around, but we're poor, and it was the only living situation we could find. I have never been a believer of the paranormal. I still don't believe in things like ghosts or demons. I'm a If I see it, I believe it type person. After this experience, though, I'm definitely more open to these types of things. What I saw, I just called the creature. When I moved onto the property, there were weird anomalies in technology that started to happen. Phones would glitch out and stop working, the cameras would act strange, and parked cars that were turned off would suddenly chime and the lights would turn on. I thought it was odd, but I never connected it to the property until my girlfriend mentioned the strange happenings later on after my sighting. One night, soon after I moved there, I had to get something out of my car. I took my phone light and walked out, opened the car door, and started digging around in the glove box, with my full focus on finding what I was looking for. I forgot exactly what it was I was searching for. After looking for a while and not finding it, I closed the door and shined my light back towards the house. There was a truck parked between me and the door to the house. As I shined my light towards the truck, I became instantly terrified. What I saw was a tall, 7 to 8 foot, humanoid creature with white, sort of sickly looking skin. Its arms and legs looked longer than a human's. As I shined my light in that direction, it ran off. It had the capability to leap over the truck, landing in the bed momentarily before hopping over the other edge and disappearing beyond my sight. I distinctly remember how the truck shook when it nimbly jumped over it. The time it took to do that was about 4 to 5 seconds. I never got to see its face, and I'm glad I didn't, as I would probably be even more traumatized than I already am. I can only imagine what its face looked like. Would it have reflective eyes like an animal? I still wonder in fear. Instead of stepping in the car and locking the door, I quickly walked around the truck and into the house like an idiot. I was terrified that when I stepped around the truck, it would be there waiting for me. Luckily, it wasn't. For the rest of the night, I was absolutely horrified, as well as the rest of the time that I lived there, which was only about a month. I would have thought, okay, maybe I just imagined it. But it was so clear to me. Even the fact that the truck shook was a detail that was too realistic to be in my imagination. And I have one more thing. I wasn't the only one who saw it. My girlfriend saw it out the window at one point, though not as clearly as I had seen it. She did some digging, and other people have seen a similar creature in the area. That makes it clear to me that what I saw was real. I still doubt it to some degree because how could it be real? But I can't see any other way to explain it. I still wonder what would have happened to me if I hadn't turned around when I did. It seemed like it might have been stalking me or something. I can only imagine in terror what it might have done to me if I hadn't turned around and saw it. I'm honestly traumatized from this experience, as silly as that may seem. I feel embarrassed saying that, but it's true. I know sightings like this to me before I experienced it myself would just make me think, these people are crazy, or they're making it up for attention or fame and they're faking it. But now, I'm more open-minded towards people's experiences. I don't want to be famous. I just want someone to know what I experienced that night. I want to know what it is that I might have seen. If anyone has an idea, please let me know what you think. I'm never moving to the countryside again. Ever. I'd rather get stabbed by some homeless Austinite than live out there and die from that creature. I have seen my girlfriend's sleep paralysis demon. My girlfriend and I moved into a new apartment roughly 3 years ago. She has since then been suffering from weekly sleep paralysis. Her brother used to have them when they were children, so she knew what it was right away. She has described it as being completely paralyzed, besides breathing and moving her eyes. And most of the time, she sees a dark, tall figure moving around our apartment when they happen. Sometimes, she just hears it walking. Sometimes, it's staring at her from the door. Sometimes, it presses down on her chest, making it difficult for her to breathe. She is a non-believer of the paranormal, yet the sleep paralysis terrifies her. Now, to the really scary part. She usually manages to wake me up during these by breathing quickly and loudly. I can then, quote unquote, wake her from it, which enables her to move again, and the figure disappears. What I haven't told her is that these past 2 months, I've seen the figure as well. Right after I'm woken up by her breathing, I can see it bent over her, pushing down on her ribcage. It always disappears the second I acknowledge it or try to wake her. I've also seen it standing in the hallway staring at me one night while I was home alone watching a movie. I just pretended I didn't see it, and it disappeared the next time I looked over. Now to the dilemma. Do I tell my girlfriend that her sleep paralysis demon might not be a regular sleep paralysis demon, since I've seen it too? And at the same time as her, when I'm waking her up from the paralysis at night? I just don't want to scare her. She is already terrified from the sleep paralysis, and that is when she feels certain that it's just in her own head. We can't afford to move. I think we can both live like this, given I never tell her the truth. Any advice? Edit. You guys are scaring the crap out of me. I was on the skeptical side, and didn't truly believe it was something paranormal. But honestly, I'm getting a bad feeling now. Are me and my husband both going insane, or something else? For the past 2 years, me and my spouse have both been hearing each other calling our names. This only happens when one of us is out of the house for an extended period, like a vacation or a few days' travel without the other person. At first, I was very skeptical. He said he heard my voice shouting from around the kitchen for help, and he was in the bedroom. So he didn't want to go and check, knowing I wasn't even in the same state. I pretty much laughed it off, thinking it was a trick of the ear, until it happened to me. He was gone for about 3 days. I was in the kitchen and heard, "Baby, help me," clear as day in his voice. I was the same way, not checking whatever that was. It recurred many times after that. Just his voice shouting while he was off on a trip. It went away after a few months, But last month, I was standing in the kitchen again and heard my own voice from the bedroom calling my cats. Here, kitty cat. Like it was mimicking me to try to get my cats to come into the room. My dog started freaking out and looked into the hallway with fear. I got goosebumps and have been trying my best to ignore it. Help me, please. What is this and why? What do you think it achieves from doing this? Note: no gas leaks. We use electric, and this also happened during the summer. Nothing explainable that would warp our sense of reality. Edit: I'm trying my best to get to all the comments, and I appreciate everyone's advice. Apparently, this is called a mimic, and I'll be researching it further. My church has offered to cleanse my home, and I've declined many times out of fear of what will happen once they leave. This has caused arguments between me and my husband because he thinks the sage will make it go away. I think it will absolutely make it furious and will hurt someone. Keys and crosses fly off the wall often. Bedroom and kitchen exclusively. And I did not want to add this to the post originally because I'm more concerned about the random voices. This has seriously done detrimental harm to my marriage and mental health due to the arguing about what to do, feeling uncomfortable and whatnot. We can't just up and move right now either. I don't want to make it mad. I don't want to make it uncomfortable. I just want it to go away. I don't know how to make it stop without making everything worse. I'll try reading the Bible out loud and putting more crosses up, along with the security cameras.